Hi there, I'm Jacob Petrossian, and today I'm going to teach you about the G major scale. Lovely. So what is the major scale? Well, the major scale, or the Ionian scale, is a group of 7 notes that make up the majority of Western music. Every song that you hear in the Western world is going to be somehow based around this scale. Now, right now we're going to focus on G major in particular, as for guitarists, it's your general go-to scale. So, G major, 7 notes. First we got G. Right now we're going to start, I'm playing 3rd fret on the E string here. So we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Back to that. So 8 if you include the octave there. The beautiful thing about the major scale is that with each of the 7 notes, they have their own scale assigned to them, which are called modes. Now, with this, you get so much useful information just out of this one scale. So within G major, obviously G major is what we will call mode 1. So, G Ionian, or G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Right, we already know that. So now to the exciting part, where we have A Dorian. Now this is mode 2. And basically what these modes are is the same notes from G major, but just starting from a different position. So what we have now, A Dorian, is we've got A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and then you go to A. Now with this you get a totally different sound, and the same applies for every individual mode here. So now, mode 3 is what we have B Phrygian. So that's B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. And now I'll just play this without me saying the notes. So obviously that sounds quite different to, and that's what makes it so useful. Right now, mode number 4, we have C Lydian. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and then finally C. Mode number 5, D Mixolydian. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, and then D. Now we have our Aeolian scale, or this is the natural minor, which is mode 6 of the major scale. So we're starting on E. This is E minor. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and then finally E. Now the last mode, mode 7, is Locrian. And this is a really weird one, so I'm going to have a bit more time to give you more information on that one. But anyway, it goes like this. So it's F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. It's a weird sounding one, so it goes like this. Now I didn't go over too much information about the other modes because today I specifically wanted to focus on G major. So to get it really ingrained up there, I'm going to talk about a few practice techniques. So with each modal position, there is a G major scale to be found within every one of them. And so that's why learning the G major scale is going to be kick-ass for your improvising and your fretboard knowledge. So with the first step, we've got mode 1 here, 3rd fret, E string. What I would recommend is that you run it just in octaves for starters, just to get comfortable with the sound and the position of it. And then once you get really comfortable with it, that's when you can run the full 6 strings. So we start like this. And then once we're good at that, we go. Awesome. Now, what we want to do after that is you want to find the next possible G. So, we have G there, and now we have G here. So that means that we have a whole array of G major scales going up this whole thing. Now the great thing about this is firstly, what I demonstrated was this is G major in mode 1. Now what we're going to do is G major in position 2. And this falls under A Dorian. So your next G here goes as follows. Then once we get very comfortable at that, we go through the whole 6 strings. So like this. Now the cool thing is, what I've just played here, you don't need to necessarily think of it as G major. You can think of it as A Dorian, but somehow see that G major fits in between there. That's how I remember it anyway, and so that way I can run through the whole fretboard and I'm sort of thinking about 2 things at once, but not really, because it's all the same thing. So, that was G there. The next one, I'm going to go to fret 10 on the A string. Now this falls under, I mean, you could say B Phrygian or C, well this one here falls under 3 different modes, which is very convenient. So, firstly, I'm going to base it off B Phrygian. So like this. Using my pinky on the G there. Now the next one would be C Lydian or C Mixolydian, like this. And then finally, our last G, before repeating the octave again, I'm going to use my pinky on fret 15 on the E string, so that's literally one octave up. And this one is based off E Aeolian. So it goes like this. And then of course you just play the other one exactly like the first mode, because it is the first mode. So this exercise is very, very good for your fretboard knowledge, and so that you know each individual note of what you're playing. And then what I would recommend, once you get the theoretical knowledge of it down, is that you try to fit it to an applicable use for you. Because, I mean, for example, I'm not very good at shredding 2 notes per string. I'm much more comfortable with 3. So therefore, instead of, you know, some of those like 2 notes per string things can kind of mess with my head. So what I like to do to make it easier on the hands is to do 3 notes per string. And so that way you're doing a solid amount for each individual string. Now I learned this from Rick Graham, actually. Rick Graham, awesome YouTube guitar teacher. So look him up. So this one here, you're stretching like that. So 3, 5 and 7. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And then just like that, that's your G major scale in 1 octave. Now, what you want to do is to be able to do the full 6 strings. So, like this. Lovely. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, you can even go to 4 notes a string, which it's a bit out of my league, this one, but I'm going to demonstrate something anyway. With this one, you've got a constant upward movement towards the bottom or the top, whatever you call this part of the neck. It goes like this. And so on until you get right up there. But this is just to make you aware that all these options are available, so that you don't need to stick to your just to learn your G major scale. You can really shred the hell out of it, and it gets really, really cool when you do so. So today we're focused on the major scale and the position of G. Now bear in mind that there are 11 other notes that you can pick from instead of G. So you can go to A flat or F sharp or wherever the hell you want to. And of course each key brings its own beautiful sound. So I hope that in this lesson it's cleared up a few things as to how to practice the G major scale, giving you a bit more knowledge on the scale itself, and also giving you a few ideas on how you can practice it and how you can incorporate it into your own music, because that's what's most important. I'm Jacob Petrossian. Thank you very much for watching. You rock.